outside things certainly going to be heating up inside. Hailey Van Lith playing lights out basketball, second in the ACC in scoring. Morgan Jones as well. There's a look at Lance White, head coach for Pitt, now in his 5th season. Trying to get this program off the ground for the last 4 years. Big season this year for the Panthers. And Louisville wins the opening tip, controlled by Hailey Van Lith. Look at the Louisville starting 5 here. It's been the usual suspects for the Cardinals. Transfer Morgan Jones from Florida State. A little bit more height with Liz Dixon and Olivia Cochran in the starting lineup as well. But it starts with a turnover.
And it starts with Pitt in that 2-3 zone. Louisville has not shot the 3 that well this year. I like Pitt starting in the zone.
Late whistle underneath. Amy Hayford got bumped. Starting 5 for Pitt. It's been a bit of a carousel for the starting lineup for Pittsburgh to start this season. 5 different starting lineups. Going a little bit smaller today here against a very tall Louisville team.
Yeah, I was interested by that, Sam. Right now, Pittsburgh's tallest player in their starting lineup is 6 foot at Amber Brown. And then for Louisville, you've got 6'5" Liz Dixon, number 22. You've got 6'3" Olivia Cochran. You've got 6'2" Morgan Jones. So Pitt is going to have to rebound today, and Lance White is a big rebounding guy. He believes that basketball and winning basketball starts and ends with rebounding the ball.
Amy Hayford 0 for 2 at the free throw line. Louisville looking to push. Here's Chrislyn Carr, transition 3. That's no good. Cochran fighting for the rebound. She got fouled underneath. It's going to go against Daishanette Harris, her first and the team's first foul.
When I say Louisville doesn't shoot the 3 well, I mean everybody but Chrislyn Carr at this point. Chrislyn Carr is shooting 45% from 3 on the season, so she's their main threat from beyond the arc at this time.
Cochran had it poked away there. Hailey Van Lith will reset. 10 on the shot clock. Morgan Jones puts it on the floor. She's so dynamic off the bounce, Kelly.
Beautiful move by Morgan Jones, the 2-time All-ACC player, transferred from Florida State. She's one of the best athletes in the league, and when she gets to the rim, puts the ball on the floor, gets to the paint, she can really score at will.
10 points a game. She's shooting over 54% from the floor this year. Well, Louisville gets on the board first. It's been a series that has been controlled by the Louisville Cardinals over the past 9 seasons or so. Liz Dixon whistled for the foul there.
Look at this move. This is just strong. 2 dribbles, 2 long steps. Look at the stride. And then the finish where she just elevates above everyone around her. And Morgan Jones, as we mentioned, the transfer from Florida State, still kind of figuring out her role in this system is what Jeff Walz was telling us. But her talent is undeniable. And I think she's going to continue to average a few more points per game. They'd love to see her maybe in that 13 to 14 range for Louisville.
Amy Hayford with 10, kicks it to the corner, last touched by Daishanette Harris off the tip of Morgan Jones.
That's the other thing Morgan Jones gives you is her length as a defender. She's 6'2", she's super long. She tipped that ball and deflected it off of Harris to get the ball back for Louisville.
Here's Cochran, gets to the rim, can't finish. And last touch by Louisville. There's head coach Jeff Walz, 16 seasons, winningest coach in program history, 2 trips to the national title game, trying to win the big one. A lot of high expectations surrounding the Louisville program this year, especially coming off that Final Four appearance last year. The expectations continue to grow, Kelly, and sometimes when you lose a game around Cardinal territory, it's like the world is ending. That's what Jeff Walz was talking about, but slowly trying to get this program, this team playing to its full potential. Fading away, Leah King, too strong. Out of bounds, will stay home with Pitt.
Expectations are always high at Louisville because of what Jeff Walz has done, because of the program that he has built. And I mean, look at the winning percentage. It's just unbelievable. The last time that Louisville lost 5 or more games in a season was the 2016-17 season. They already have 4 losses so far. So this is a little bit of a different challenge for Louisville and for Jeff Walz this season. They're not in the top 25 right now. I imagine they will jump back in soon if they keep winning. but definitely a team that is still learning how to gel together with these two transfer starters in Carr and Morgan Jones.
Third team foul and an early second foul on Morgan Jones, so she will head to the bench. Just a couple minutes into this first quarter. That's a big loss for Louisville. She's a player that just does it all for this team. 4.3 rebounds per game. You see Mikasa sitting right next to her, not playing in this game. Mikasa Robinson did not participate in shoot-around this morning, so a couple of players not available for the Cardinals.
And he went with Marissa Russell off the bench, who's been playing a lot more, the junior out of Canada for Louisville, so they're going to need her to step up.
Hailey Van Lith off the mark, and Pitt looking to push with a freshman point guard, Marley Washenitz, making her third start of the season today. Daishanette Harris stops, pulls up. No good. Both teams not really finding their rhythm so far. Louisville 1 for 4 from the floor. Pitt 0 for 2 to start. And a whistle, blocking foul. Going against Olivia Cochran. And already we're seeing Jeff Walz less than pleased with the officials.
Well, and I love that defensive possession from Pittsburgh. It was a great double team on Liz Dixon. Washenitz, who's giving up a lot of size, gets her hands on the ball, and Dixon wanted to pass to a crashing Cochran, but she couldn't get the ball out because of the double team and the high hands from Pitt. 4
team fouls for Louisville here in this first quarter. It's going to be something to keep an eye on later in this game. Leah Tu King, baseline jumper in and out. They could 0 for 3 start from the floor for a Pitt team that has really improved their shooting, and it was something that Lance White has kind of harped on as one of the biggest improvements from last year to this year. Quick shot from Hailey Van Lith. She was fouled on the way up. She'll go to the line to shoot 2. All right, we have a college basketball doubleheader for you Wednesday night. Number 24, Virginia Tech, is in Chestnut Hill to take on Boston College in our first game at 6:30. And Florida State hosting Notre Dame in Tallahassee. That's all coming up Wednesday on the ACC network. So Hailey Van Lith makes her first. What are you seeing early on here, Kelly?
Well, I'm seeing 2 teams that are both cold. It's freezing outside. Maybe not freezing by Pittsburgh standards, but for this Southerner, it's very cold. And, you know, the last thing you want to do, I saw Lance White, they had a great defensive possession, the possession before this last one. And then you foul a 3-point shooter. And not only a 3-point shooter, you foul the best player on the floor. And you let her get going. She walks up, she gets 3 free throws, she knocks them all down. That's the last thing you want to do to Hailey Van Lith, to let her see that ball go through the net.
A little pressure from Louisville. Free throw line extended for Harris won't go. Hailey Van Lith looking to push, bounce pass, just a bit too far ahead of Chrislyn Carr. Third turnover for Louisville, back the other way. Harris creates contact, gets fouled.
And this situation, to me, is just Hailey Van Lith and Chrislyn Carr still learning how to play with each other. That was a really tough pass to get for Chrislyn Carr. She's not the biggest. She's very fast, and I'm sure that's what Hailey Van Lith was thinking, but it's a very tough pass to field in transition, which leads to a turnover. And then a good job by Daishanette Harris, who settled for a few jumpers so far in this game, to go ahead and attack that rim and get to the line.
Daishanette Harris, the senior guard from Youngstown, Ohio. One of the most impactful players to wear the Pitt jersey.
Pitt's already missed 3 free throws, leaving some points there just on the floor that you need against a team like Louisville.
5 to 3 here. Scoring's been tough to come by in the first 4+ minutes. Looking to lob one in there. Liz Dixon was double teamed. 4th turnover, back the other way, 2-on-1. Harris pulls up once again off the front iron. Offensive rebound though. And going out, last touch by Louisville. A couple substitutions on both sides coming in here as well. For Louisville, Ace Strickland will come in, and Josie Williams for Louisville. Oh for 5 start for Pitt from the field.
I say they've missed 3 free throws, but all their points have come from the free throw line at this point.
Also checking into the game, Gabby Hutcherson. Being told that Daishanette Harris took a walk back into the locker room after checking out, but she's now coming back to the bench. Looks like she's good. Here's Johnson. She got bumped, no whistle, and throws it out of bounds. A turnover for Pittsburgh will turn it back to Louisville.
This game has been very physical so far, Sam. We've only had 1 3-pointer attempted. We've had both teams really trying to attack, get into the lane, and get to the free throw line. But as we've mentioned, Pitt is a much better 3-point shooting team than last year. Would love to see them attempt some. And just as I say that, Hailey Van Lith gets an open look.
Hailey Van Lith, who has struggled shooting from beyond the arc, just 21% on the season, makes her 11th three of the year. You don't want her to get hot because that can cause a lot of problems.
And that was my whole point by putting her at the free throw line, to let her see 3 shots go through the net. That leads to an open 3 getting knocked down.
So 6 of the first 8 points for Louisville in the game have come from Hailey Van Lith. Shot clock down to 5. And the ball is lost back the other way. Russell taking it all the way. And she gets fouled, couldn't finish at the rim. So Louisville and Hailey Van Lith out to a good start. It's been tough to find scoring, but Van Lith with 6 of the 8, and Louisville leads at 8-3. Has really found another gear this season. 20 points per game, that's good for second in the ACC. What have you seen from HVL to start this year?
Well, I've seen her have to take on even a bigger load without Emily Enksler, Kiana Smith, all the players Louisville lost last year. And she has done that. I love her rebounding numbers. She's scoring the ball really well, of course. Her minutes per game are very interesting. Last year, she averaged 31 minutes per game. This year, 36, which is second in the ACC. Her usage rate, if there are any nerds out there listening, is very high, nearly 30%. So she's doing everything, and she doesn't want to come off the floor. But for Louisville to reach its full potential, to get back in the top 25, to possibly contend to host in the NCAA tournament, other players have to step up because HVL's doing everything, and they need a little more from the other players in white jerseys.
The start of the season, of course, ranked number 7 in the preseason polls. Lost a couple of games over the Thanksgiving holiday. They played in the tournament. Close games at that, but they've now started to find a little bit of a groove. Had a good first half against Kentucky a little while ago. And you see 3-game winning streak coming into the game today. 29-5 last year. Already lost 4 games this year. There's Josie Williams, the baseline jumper, averaging 4 a game.
That's a really good look for Josie Williams, right in her wheelhouse. She has a great-looking jumper for a player of her size at 6'5".
Grad transfer from Utah Valley, averaged a double-double for the Aggies last year. Here's a 3 fired away by Gabby Hutcherson. That's no good. Offensive rebound for Amber Brown. Brown working on Van Lith, tries the baseline, kicks it out. Hutcherson on the drive, no good at the rim. Rebound for Olivia Cochran.
I like Hutcherson, a very long, athletic player. That was a great attack, but against Louisville, you got to make layups because they're going to come back on the other end and make you pay offensively. That's a 4-point swing. You missed the layup on one end, and then HVL knocks down a jumper on the other end. Louisville, the only team able to score a good bit here in Pittsburgh.
9-0 run for the Louisville Cardinals over the last minute 48. 8 points for Hailey Van Lith, 2 for 3 from the field, 1 for 1 from beyond the arc. On the other side for Pitt, 0 for 7 start from the floor. All 3 points have come from the free throw line.
I thought that was a backcourt violation right there. That was very close for Pittsburgh with Daishanette Harris passing the ball.
All right, so how does Pitt get the offense going here, Kelly? Because right now it hasn't been working, trying to get shots from the floor. They're getting some good looks, though.
They are getting good looks, and I know that's what's frustrating for Coach White, if he's watching his team right now, is they are getting some really good looks. That one maybe not the best look I've ever seen, but it's those previous plays before that timeout. You miss a layup, you miss an open 3, you get the rebound, you get a second chance, you miss the layup. Louisville is going to make you pay for that. So continuing to get the shots you want and just having the confidence you can knock them down. That's what Pitt needs to do.
Well, Pittsburgh has only attempted 1 3 so far in this game, but they have been one of the better 3-point shooting teams to start this season. currently ranked 4th in the ACC, shooting 34% from long range. Van Lith inside to Williams. Gets a nice roll, and Williams has already matched her season average of 4 points a game.
We talked about Louisville's size. They have multiple players over 6'3". Josie Williams matched up with Amber Brown, knew she had a size advantage. Beautiful little sky hook in the paint.
Good defense up top by Russell, making it tough for Pitt to even get into their offense. Discombobulated here, 3 seconds on the shot clock. Hayford puts up a wild shot, and Williams brings in the rebound. Van Lith behind the back, kicks it to Carr. Carr on the drive, too many steps, she traveled. That'll be the 5th turnover for Louisville.
That was a good job by Pittsburgh to get back in transition, know where shooters are. They forced Hailey Van Lith off the three-point line and then forced Carr off the three-point line as well. With how good those two have been shooting the ball in transition, I think Pitt just avoided perhaps a made 3 in transition that would have made this game even harder to get back into.
This is going to be a critical minute and 30 seconds here in the first quarter. Can Pitt try and get some momentum heading into the second quarter? And that one will rattle home there. Whistle after the play. Basket is good for Gabby Hutcherson, though. That's the first made field goal of the game for the Panthers.
Pittsburgh looks like a team to me that hasn't played in a week. Their last game was last Sunday against Ball State. Louisville had a midweek game, so you're seeing some of that too. But how about Washenitz getting out in the passing lane?
Excellent hands from the freshman Marley Washenitz from just outside of Morgantown, West Virginia. Got the start today. She's primarily come off the bench, but a player that Coach Lance White has been really pleased with. Here's Russell, and she cashes it in. Russell, foot on the line.
They counted that as a 3. They might
did,
review that during the quarter break. I thought her foot was perhaps on the line. That's something they can review during the break.
40 seconds to play. Washenitz trying to direct the offense here. Guarded by Van Lith. Leah Johnson, 10 on the shot clock. Washenitz will try for 3. Offensive rebound, Daishanette Harris gets bumped by Crystalline Carr.
She came out of nowhere, Sam. How did she even find that rebound? That's just great hustle from Daishanette Harris.
About 5 offensive rebounds for Pitt already, just 1 for Louisville in the game. Trying to convert on those second chance opportunities, though. Daishanette Harris, a player who's done so much for this program over her time. Look at her the last 3 games, 13 points per game. Just about 50% from the field. She'll go to the line.
They've moved her more to the 2 this season. Washenitz and Lewis playing the 1. Coach White was looking, he wanted more scoring. Daishanette Harris, one of his best scorers, wanted to move her off ball, and I think it's been a good decision.
Harris 5 for 6 from the free throw line, so 5 of Pittsburgh's 9 points coming from number 1. Shot clock is off for Louisville here. 10 seconds to play with. Hailey Van Lith has the ball. Van Lith drives baseline, puts it up and blocked from behind by Leah King. 4 seconds for Pitt. Bounce pass up. Shot off in time. Aislinn Malcolm cashes it in. Aislinn Malcolm, one of the best shooters on this team. The freshman guard comes in and cashes in, Kelly.
Much needed 3-point bucket for Pittsburgh heading into the break. A great block by Leah King, and Daishanette Harris knows she doesn't have the game, shooting 34% from 3, up 6 percentage points from last year. You've got to let some fly, and I love what Coach Lance White did on that last possession. Put in Malcolm, the freshman, Aislinn Malcolm, at that stoppage, and then got her an open look for 3 before the quarter. She comes right off the bench, knocks it down. Smart substitution, and it really paid off.
Here's Leah King getting the shot off, misses everything. Washenitz under her own basket, hands it off to Carr. Does not have numbers, so Kristen Carr will slow it up for Louisville. Hailey Van Lith had 8 of Louisville's points, 19 points in the first quarter.
Louisville's three-point shooting has drawn Pitt out of that zone. They're playing a lot more man-to-man at the end of the first quarter and in man-to-man now.
Russell in the paint, spins around, gets the shot off, and in time.
That's an impressive look from Russell.
Malcolm on the other end misses the 3. She's 1 for 2 after making that buzzer beater to end the first quarter.
We talked about how Russell had to step up. Morgan Jones in foul trouble. She was the first player off the bench, playing that 3-4 spot, and has looked good in her minutes so far today.
Nyla Harris also entering the game for Louisville. Has the ball now. Talented freshman forward. Once again, shot clock winding down. Van Lith guarded closely by Washenitz. Crossover, Van Lith, baseline, in and out. And the rebound there for Hutcherson. Hutcherson, nice fake there, puts the floater up, and gets a friendly roll at home.
I think I've already said this, but I like Hutcherson's game. She's got great length. She can put the ball on the deck. She can shoot the 3. And you see her mid-range game right there.
Comes from a good program, Ohio State. Harris on the drive this time, up and off the glass. Nyla Harris, freshman from Orlando, Florida, has come off the bench in just about every game this season, but Coach Jeff Walz has been pleased with the way that she has grown. Leah King off the mark. Harris with the rebound. Van Lith off to Harris. Here's Williams, another baseline jumper. Nice start for Josie Williams.
Josie Williams has been excellent shooting the rock, 3 for 3 from the field, and that's the kind of production that Jeff Walz wants off of his bench.
Scored a season-high 11 points a couple weeks ago. And another 3 cashed in this time by Marley Washenitz.
Pittsburgh is going to have to make some threes, especially because they dug themselves an early hole. Got to make some threes to get back in this game.
Started the game 1 for 10 from the field. Russell in the post, fakes the shot and has it taken away right out of her hands by Leah King. Washenitz back the other way. Malcolm straight inside. Hutcherson can't get it to go. Rebound from Van Lith.
Strong move, and that's what Lance White was telling us at shoot-around. We're getting good looks. We just have to convert and be more consistent.
HVL calling for that high ball screen. Goes behind the back. Van Lith from the elbow. Another in and out for HVL and a foul underneath. Goes against Pitt. Couple of substitutions for both sides here. Leah King picks up her second foul.
We'll see what Coach Lance White does with Leah King. Morgan Jones picked up those early 2 fouls in the first quarter. We haven't seen her since.
Amy Hayford and Amber Brown both back into the game. Kick out to Hayford. Hayford, tough pass underneath the basket, tipped out of bounds. It's going to stay with Pitt.
For both of these teams, Sam, a lot of their turnovers have been when you try to do too much in the paint. When you try to make a pass in the paint, and there's just too much going on. There's too many people in that small area, and those passes generally aren't there. That's been an issue for both teams, and that's a situation where you got to take it up yourself. It's better to try to get to the rim, draw a foul, than make a pass that you're trying to make through multiple people.
Pitt having some trouble getting the ball in. Olivia Cochran is hounding the inbounder right now. Finally getting into Washington after making the switch. Mason Malcolm 5 to shoot. Malcolm puts up a floater, too short. Olivia Cochran hands off to Van Lith. Cochran top of the key, fakes the shot and travels.
I thought previously on that possession, Sam, both Kono and Cochran had open looks. And it feels like they're still looking to give it back to Van Lith, which obviously she's taking 17 shots a game. She's your leading scorer, but you almost need a little more confidence out of these other shooters. Even if you're not going to make it, shoot it. Open up some other things where Pitt doesn't think you're just going to try to go back to Van Lith every time.
Hayford got bumped, no whistle. Dixon brings in the rebound. Quickly inside, had it tipped out, and it's going to be home with Louisville here. 25-17 is the score. Louisville on a bit of a scoring drought here, trying to find the offense they had the way that we are talking about it today.
Definitely. That was the first time the U.S. women had medaled, was in those Montreal Olympics, and two really great players, well, a lot of really great players on that team, but she coached two great ones in Pat Head, who became Pat Summitt, and Nancy Lieberman. And she talked about how those Olympics, where we saw that as Americans we could go medal, and at that time the Soviet Union was the real power in women's hoops, it caused a lot of schools and bigger name schools to start to invest in women's hoops. You also, of course, had the passage of Title IX, and it just led to the amazing growth that we've seen in the last 40 years. So a true legend in Billie Moore, and her impact on the game will not be forgotten. No, it certainly won't be. And our thoughts and prayers, of course, with the Moore family and everybody that she touched along the way. Back here inside the Peterson Event Center, Louisville leading Pitt by 10. 4:20 left to go here in the first half. Pittsburgh has struggled from the field here in this game. 5 for 21, that's good for 24%. Touched out of bounds by Olivia Cochran of Louisville. Shot clock is at 6 for Pitt. We've talked about the hole that Pitt dug itself early in this game, but they have fought back and are very much in it. It's tough against a team like Louisville, who expects to win every time they take the floor, even in a year like this. It's very hard to dig a hole like that against a team like Louisville that can play fast, that can score in bunches. But Pittsburgh, since the beginning of this game, really in the second quarter, they've looked a lot better. Started Louisville with a lead of 16-3. Pittsburgh has started to come back and find the offense. There's a nice little floater from Liz Dixon in the paint. Sam, I am a huge Liz Dixon fan. I love her game, and I think that we should see more production from her because she is so skilled inside, has great touch. You see her fighting for a loose ball there on the floor. Against Kentucky, Louisville's arch rival, she had 16 points in 26 minutes. She was cooking down low, and I know that Coach Walls would love to see a little more consistency from Liz Dixon, but she absolutely has all the tools at 6'5", couple dribbles, beautiful hook, and that touch, Sam, that's something you can't teach. As a post player, you either have that touch or you don't, and Liz Dixon definitely has it. They went 5 for 6 from the floor in that Kentucky game. She was one of the main reasons they won. Van Lith off to the left, offensive rebound, Kono. Carr, quick pass into Dixon, has it taken away though. Exenor back the other way. At first look, that's a good pass, but then you realize that Dixon already had 2 blue jerseys around her. You really passed into a double team, which can be a risky situation. Good defense by Olivia Cochran there, forcing the errant pass. The 8th turnover for Louisville here. Under 3 to play in the first half.
And it's another three off the mark. Dixon had it blocked on the way back up. Body's on the floor, and it comes out to Exenor. Pitt has really battled on the boards here against a very good rebounding Louisville team.
We talked about Pitt's struggle shooting the ball. I do want to give some credit to Louisville defensively. Last year, they were one of the best defensive teams in the country. This year, they're a little bit more of a work in progress, but I feel like over the last 3 games, this 3-game winning streak for Louisville, their defensive intensity as a group has increased, and you're seeing a good bit of that right now, even without Mikasa Robinson, who you see on the bench, who's a 2-time All-ACC defensive player. But here's what I mean. Last year, they were holding teams to basically 55 points per game, which was second in the ACC, and those 3-point shooting numbers, they're giving up a much higher percentage from 3 this season than they were last year.
How much of that can you credit to the play of Emily Angsler, who was a player that just, you know, was all over the place for them?
So much, and she is a player that I have talked about so much as we previewed the season, and maybe too much in studio, about her value to this Louisville team. And Jeff Walz echoed it today at shoot-around. I mean, replacing Emily Angsler is difficult for any team, especially this Louisville team. They've brought in some transfers. They're trying to replace her production, but what she brought defensively and offensively is very hard to replace with just one player.
Yeah, and you bring in a player like Morgan Jones, who has some of the similar characteristics and features, but again, you lose a Kiana Smith, Chelsea Hall as well, 2 excellent shooters. Emily Angsler was just a player that did it all for this team. Inside, Cochran, nice spin move on the low post.
And that's a good post-to-post pass. That was a one-on-one pass. You're going inside to Cochran, who has 1 defender on her. Shooters are spreading out the other help side defenders. That's when you want to go post-to-post inside. Great job by Louisville.
Exenor on the drive, left hand, no good. Cochran brings in the rebound, looking to push.
7th rebound so far for Olivia Cochran.
Bang! Chrislyn Carr knocks down the 3. Her first made field goal of the game, but she's been the leading 3-point shooter for this team. Hutcherson from the mid-range. Cochran making 8 rebounds. Shot clock is off for Chrislyn Carr. Carr looks inside, doesn't have anybody open. Van Lith, 2 to shoot. Van Lith fires away and hits! Hailey Van Lith at the buzzer.
Goodness gracious, Hailey Van Lith. Hailey Van Buckets. An incredible first half for her, 11 points. She's 2 for 3 from beyond the arc. Jab, jab, size her up. One dribble, step back, knock it down. Louisville with a heck of a finish to that trap. I thought they might call her for a 3rd right away.
Washenitz able to break it here. Washenitz has it blocked out of bounds by Liz Dixon, her 2nd block of the game.
Liz Dixon is so long. You see their roster, you read 6'5", but 6'5" translates, and her length has been a factor in this game. Same with Josie Williams, who's also 6'5" for Louisville.
That's going to be a backcourt violation on Amy Hayford. Turnover number 10 for Louisville and Lance White's crew. Well, even though the record may not reflect it, Lance White has improved this program, Kelly, since he has gotten here. Pitt team that led the ACC last year in rebounding. Rebounding numbers haven't exactly translated to this year. Rita Igbagwe transferred out. That was a big loss for them. And Cochran herself is getting settled underneath right now for Louisville.
And what a pass by Hailey Van Lith. Passed it at exactly the right time when Cochran was coming off of that screen. And if she had passed it a second later, that would have been a steal. So great job by HVL.
Amber Brown created the contact on Van Lith, didn't get the call, and miss the basket. Hailey Van Lith with 3 assists in the game, pair of rebounds, 11 points. Louisville's certainly making it a point of emphasis to get the ball down in the low post right now. Morgan Jones dumps it off to Dixon. Nice extra feed there.
Great pass by Morgan Jones. Draw that extra defender. Dish back to your post player.
18-2 run now for Louisville. They lead at 43-19. Morgan Jones fell down there.
Here's Morgan Jones. She attacks. You see both defenders turn their heads, lose track of Liz Dixon, and Jones does a great job. And that's a tough shot for a post player right there around the block to have that touch. And you know I've talked about Liz Dixon's touch already in this game. She has it.
Liz Dixon with 4 points, now just 56 points shy of 1,000 for her career. Hailey Van Lith just reached the 1,000 points mark a couple weeks ago. There's Van Lith fading away there. Van Lith feeling it right now, 13 points.
Her mid-range game is so difficult to guard. She can do everything. She can score at all three levels, the three-point line, the mid-range, and at the rim. But if I had to pick one that is a little bit better than the others for her, it's that mid-range game.
All right, Wednesday is National Signing Day for football, and we have you covered. We'll have our annual special breaking down all the ACC recruits, taking you through each school with highlights and evals. Coverage begins at 3 Eastern Time, noon Pacific. So Daishanette Harris at the free throw line. That's where she's been living all game long. She is 6 for 7. All 6 of her points have come from the charity stripe. Make it 7 for 8. Gone 0 for 4 from the field has Daishanette Harris. Jones finding Van Lith on the high post, is hounded there by a couple of blue jerseys. Morgan Jones cuts to the paint, puts it up and in with the left.
That attack looked very similar to her scoring in that first quarter, but that time with her right. So showing her ability to use both hands and finish at the rim.
3 was no good for Malia Johnson. Louisville right back the other way. Dixon trying to create space underneath. Had it taken away by Leatu King. Knocked out of bounds by Morgan Jones.
Here's Morgan Jones. You're going to see her get the ball where Pitt is a little out of rotation. She attacks left, and some players wouldn't feel comfortable using their left in sort of a hook shot. So it's not a layup. You're outside the restricted area, but Morgan Jones, very comfortable with the left.
Coach Walls has said Morgan Jones is continuing to improve her game. That's a nice fadeaway jumper there from Gabby Hutcherson from the free throw line. But keeping it on Morgan Jones, this was a player coming in from Florida State, program that has had success, and Jones did spend last year a little bit injured. But in your opinion, KG, have we seen the full potential of Morgan Jones in this system as HVL knocks down another shot?
No, we have not. And honestly, a lot of the games that I've watched of her, she has had some early foul trouble, and that throws her out of rhythm. Of course, she can't play as much in the first half when she does get in foul trouble, but I think she's adjusting to a brand new system. At Florida State, the ball was in her hands a lot more. At Louisville, the ball is mainly in the hands of Carr and HVL, and she's going to get her chances to slash. She's got to rebound. She's got to get those second chance points. But she's such a good defender. I think she's still figuring out how she can score using her defense as well. But her potential has not been met yet at Louisville. I think she would say that. I think Jeff Walls would say that. But there's a lot of season left. There's ACC play left. And as she continues to get comfortable, I think I said this earlier, that if she can get around the 13 to 14 points per game range, that's where I feel Louisville could be really dangerous down the stretch with how HVL's been playing as well.
Foul going against Daishanette Harris there. It's her second, team third. Van Lith double team. Good ball movement here from the Cardinals. Carr bobbled it a bit. Van Lith already with 15. Thought about the shot, tried to get it inside. Leatu King is battling underneath right now, whether it be on Liz Dixon or Olivia Cochran. undersized Leah King at 6 feet tall, going up against 6'5" Liz Dixon.
Only 8 seconds left on the shot clock here for Louisville.
Van Lith way off the mark. Morgan Jones brings in the rebound, gets the shot off in time, misses short. Here's Shanice Lewis, pull-up jumper. Off the back iron, and Dixon brings in the rebound. Dixon left wide open there. Now gonna take the long jumper and hit. Liz Dixon, gonna give her that much space, might as well try it.
We haven't seen Liz Dixon shoot many threes. She hasn't shot one this year, but she'll take that extended mid-range, if you will, and show she can knock it down.
Gabby Hutcherson is having herself quite the game. 9 points to lead the way for Pitt. Wide open though, Liz Dixon, transition defense not there for Pitt.
It just feels like whenever Pitt scores and they try to grab a little momentum, Louisville goes right back on the other end and stops that momentum by scoring themselves.
Leah King has not been able to get going today. 0 points on 0 for 4 from the field. Corner 3, Malcolm in and out. Hutcherson crashing the boards there, picks up the O board. Leah King, a player that leads this team in scoring, averaging over 11 points a game. Here she is here, nice fake, goes up against Dixon and has it blocked. Back the other way, Morgan Jones bobbled it, traveled. And we will step aside for our break here in the third quarter. Louisville in control here in Pittsburgh, leading at 53-26 in the ACC opener.
It's all about step.
Legendary around these parts. Now in her first year as an assistant coach on the floor, did not coach last year after having her first child, but now back in coaching this team. Let's go back to 2014, Kelly, because we got to walk through some of these highlights. There's Kiesel, and who's that? KG out there playing her best defense.
I obviously didn't want to leave her. You could see my face. Great attitude, Kelly, by the way.
All right, here's our second play.
Love
Kiesel
that.
with the ball here, and what are we calling here for a switch?
Well, it's a zone, so Chelsea comes over and bumps me off, but then I'm too deep help side. That one's on me. I would say the first play, not really on me. Second play, I got too deep in help side, had to get back out because it's Brianna Kiesel, who's one of the best players in Pitt history. So I'll take the blame for that one.
6 years in the WNBA and in Europe. Also scored a lot of points against Kelly Gramlich. But you guys did win in Clemson, didn't you?
Yeah, I was going to say, Sarah, our producer, where's my graphic of that year? We played them twice. We beat them in Clemson, and we played pretty well in that Clemson game. So we'll throw that out there soon.
Okay.
1-1 that year. It's a rivalry unlike any other.
Right.
Pitt and Clemson.
Morgan Jones racing back the other way, misses the layup. Cochran there for the follow, won't get it to go. Pitt looking to push. Amber Brown here on the other end of the floor. A wild shot. Just hasn't been the afternoon for the Pitt Panthers from the floor, shooting 21%.
Amber Brown is the player that we highlighted in our open, had 20-17 and 3 blocks in Pitt's last game, and has only taken 2 shots. They're so weird, but they're so funny. And they just seem great.
They seem to be just having a ball.
As a species.
Yeah. They also seem warm, which is always a tough thing to seem around Pittsburgh this time of year. But
I just like how they waddle. I think that's my favorite part about Penguins. Not that you asked, but.
I would agree, yeah.
And of course, the home of the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yep.
So that makes sense. I just got that connection. I was wondering why we were randomly showing Penguins, but of course, Pittsburgh Penguins, I get it now.
Stationette Harris slips one through to Brown. Kick out, Malcolm takes it inside the arc and can't get it to go.
Olivia Cochran has just been a terror on the glass. That's her 12th rebound of the day.
Crystalline Carr for 3, count it. Crystalline Carr knocking it down. That's her second made 3 of the game.
And Washington's had a hand in her face. and Chrislyn Carr knocked that down. That was an impressive shot from Carr.
She's now got 31 threes on the year. Answer on the other end for Dejanette Harris. Makes her first field goal of the game, but now has 10 points after making 7 free throws. See if Pitt can go on a little bit of a run here to end the third quarter. Harris crashing the boards there and out-rebounding Hailey Van Lith. In the corner there, stepped out of bounds going the other way.
Harris has had a few of those rebounds where she just comes out of nowhere to grab the offensive rebound at just 5'7".
Pittsburgh, one of their last 8 from the floor, though. And you compare that to a Louisville team, Kelly, that's shooting 60% on the afternoon.
Louisville's been impressive. 60% from the field, 63% from 3, and they're 5 for 5 from the free throw line. Excellent shooting performance so far.
Good ball movement here from Louisville, and Cochran gets fouled on the end of it. The ball touched all 5 players in white jerseys there.
And that post-to-post passing has really improved for Louisville. I started to notice it during the Kentucky game. They did a great job post-to-post passing between Cochran and Dixon. That time between Josie Williams and Cochran. They spread the floor, and what I was referring to earlier, when you're trying to pass the ball in the paint, when you get deeper than that ACC logo and you're literally in the paint giving it to someone else in the paint, that's not the best idea. But if you're at that high post and you have a one-on-one situation inside with your other post player, that's when you want to feed them all day, and Louisville's done a great job of that.
Had that one gone in, Cochran would have had her third double-double of the season, just 1 point away. Has 12 boards here in Pittsburgh today. Washington's asking for help there. Screen on Carr. Hands it off. Malcolm, corner 3. High arcer.
If she gets an open look, she is going to knock it down. Her misses today have been contested, tough shots, but her 2 somewhat open looks, she has drained. This is really good ball movement by Pitt. Good job by Amber Brown to find the open man, and Malcolm knocks it down.
Second made 3 of the game. Lance White's been talking a lot about his freshmen. He said, we brought in some really good shooters. You see Malcolm and Washington's both have contributed from 3 today. Leah King from the free throw line. Finally getting involved in the offense. That's her first points of the game.
And I think that's telling for Pitt's leading scorer and leading rebounder to just get her first points at the end of this third quarter.
Washington's picking the pocket of Chrislyn Carr. Looking for help now. Malcolm open for 3 on the wing. Just a bit short. Leah King over the back.
And that's a situation in transition for Washington's. You could tell she wanted to go left. She's got to be able to finish. She's on the right side there in transition. She gets the steal, great play. But you've got to have enough confidence in your right hand to go up and finish on the right. And that's something that she will develop. She's just a young freshman, but it's obvious too as a defender, you know she wants to go left, and you're aware of that, and it can make it a lot easier to guard her.
So with 4 personal fouls, Leah King heads to the bench. 1 for 6 on the day. There's that 1 point Cochran was needing for a double-double. 3rd on the year for Olivia Cochran. Cochran will sub out. Nyla Harris coming back in. Talk about the improvement for a player like Olivia Cochran, too, who last year was, a little bit inconsistent at times, and they've been trying to get her the ball more often. Offensive foul goes the other way on Washington, but a post player can only do so much, KG, right? It's also about where they get the ball and when they get the ball. feels like Cochran's getting the ball in better spots now.
I would agree. That post-to-post passing has improved, and she's playing more of the 4 this year than the 5 like she was last year.
Van Lith, oh, are you kidding me? HVL.
Another buzzer beater at the end of a quarter.
We are 3 for 3 on buzzer beaters to end the quarter, and HVL has 2 of them. There's the second one. How about it?
I'm the team mascot, and boy, am I running late. But I got lead in my foot and spirit in my fingers.
On the arc, she's 3 for 4 from 3. Came into this game just 10 for 48 from beyond the arc. And she started off slowly last year from beyond the arc as well, and really improved in that regard to become about 35% shooter last year from 3. So this is a good sign for Louisville, maybe, that she's going to be shooting better from 3 as the season continues.
Yeah, for the first 11 games last year, Hailey Van Lith was 7 for 35, which is 20% from the floor. Coming into the game today, Hailey Van Lith was around that same mark, 10 for 48 from three-point, which is 21%. But like you said, KG, finished the year last year 36% from beyond the arc. And if today is any indicator, seems like Hailey Van Lith might have found a bit of rhythm.
Also, think about this. She's averaging 20 points per game, second in the ACC, while shooting 21% from 3.
Right, yeah.
And we know she's very capable of shooting around that 35% range, so that could get her average up even higher if she continues to shoot the ball like she has. And of course, HVL, one of the best players in the ACC, one of the best players in the country. She would be the ACC's leading scorer right now, if not for superstar freshman Tanaya Latson from Florida State, who's averaging 25 a game as a true freshman, had 24 points today in Florida State's close loss to UConn.
Van Lith looking for help. Williams into the post. Nyla Harris has it knocked away. And we'll go Pitt's way.
We're seeing some depth pieces in for Louisville right now, some of the freshmen. I'm intrigued to see how long Hailey Van Lith plays. She has yet to come off the floor. She plays 36 minutes a game, which is second in the ACC. How much longer does Jeff Walz leave her in? That's what I'm wondering.
Anna Walker into the game for Louisville as well, number 1 in white. Exenor working on Josie Williams, finds space, creates it herself, and drops it in. That's her first bucket of the game. Russell steps into a 3. Williams can't bring in the offensive rebound, and Amber Brown back the other way for Pitt. Brown, excellent pass to Exenor.
Pitt with 4 quick points, all from Exenor.
This is really critical time, too, for Louisville, because you may not get more games like this in the ACC when you get to really find out what your depth has, right? You get to have them out on the floor and get some experience.
Which is great for these freshmen who haven't played as much in this Louisville system. We've seen some Nyla Harris. She's probably played the most of the freshmen. But like you said, Sam, this is a really good chance to get some run, to get some minutes. And next up for Louisville, they have DePaul. So that's probably not going to be a game where you're playing a lot of freshmen in as well.
All right, we have a college basketball doubleheader for you Wednesday night. Number 24, Virginia Tech, up in Chestnut Hill, take on Boston College in our first game at 6:30 Eastern time. Then Florida State hosting Notre Dame in Tallahassee coming up on Wednesday.
Into the game for the Panthers.
Hailey Van Lith, another 20-point game, her 7th this season, 18th of her career. Just like that's her number this year, 20 points.
And this is where, if Mikasa Robinson was available, who's out right now for Louisville in the concussion protocol, perhaps HVL would would be on the bench at this point, and maybe he's subbing in for her. I just think at this point, you're up 30.
Yep.
It's a long season. There's already been so much tread on the tires for HVL. I would get her out pretty soon, considering she's hit her average as well, like you said.
Exenor on the other end. A couple of quick baskets here in the fourth quarter. She's got 8. Into the corner, Walker hits the 3. Talk about Louisville and, of course, all the expectations they have coming into the season. Ranked number 7th in the preseason poll. You come out, you lose 4 games. You know, I think this Louisville team played a sneaky, tough non-conference schedule.
They did.
And now you go into ACC play, and in many respects, it's like you flip the page to a new season.
I wouldn't even say sneaky tough. I think people know that Louisville really challenged themselves. Down in that Bahamas tournament, they played Gonzaga, who's a very good team. South Dakota State, who's a very good team, lost to those two. They beat Texas. They played Kentucky, beat Kentucky, and they played Ohio State.
Yep.
And lost to Ohio State in a situation where they really outplayed Ohio State for 3 quarters, and then the fourth quarter, the Buckeyes blew it open. You and I have had Ohio State this year. That team is a legitimate Final Four.
That's a Final Four
contender.
team. Yeah, I'm with you.
So this has been a very tough schedule for Louisville. And I think if they beat DePaul, who they play next week, they probably won't be ranked when the poll comes out Monday. But if they can beat DePaul, I think there's a good chance they'll be ranked by the new year.
Here's Strickland with the left hand. It's always interesting listening to Jeff Walz, and you know, we get to talk to Jeff Walz quite a bit, but listening to him in press conferences, he's going to tell you what's on his mind. Nyla Harris in the paint, and he said, look, you know, some of the transfers coming in come from programs where losing isn't, you know, necessarily accepted, but it happens a lot more than it happens here. So not only are they getting adjusted to a new system, but a mindset shift as well has had to take place for some of the transfers coming in here, as Louisville will start to empty the bench a little bit. But before we do that, we will head to break. And Louisville with a 73-44 advantage in the fourth quarter by Food Lion, the official grocer of the ACC. First conference game of the season for Louisville and Pittsburgh here in the Peterson Event Center. It has been all Louisville Cardinals and Hailey Van Lith today with 20 points to lead the way. And the Cardinals leading at 73-44. Coming up, after we are done here in Pittsburgh, we will send you down to Castle Coliseum. Number 5 Notre Dame, number 6 Virginia Tech. Olivia Miles versus the preseason player of the year, Liz Kitley. It doesn't get any better than that. And then you finish with number 8 NC State and your alma mater, Clemson, KG.
This is just your average Sunday in the ACC. You got number 5 versus number 6. That's what's going to happen a lot this year in the league when you have 4 top 10 teams. And I'm very excited for this Virginia Tech and Notre Dame game. Do not change the channel. These two teams, I believe, are both Final Four contenders. Liz Kitley, the reigning ACC Player of the Year. Olivia Miles, definitely in the running for ACC Player of the Year. She is triple-double machine. You stole my words there, Sam. You're exactly right. And that game's in Blacksburg. So I think the Virginia Tech crowd's going to show up. Both those teams have been playing very good basketball.
Preseason All-ACC team, of course, we have a pair here, but Ashley Owusu, big story, is not going to be available, at least for the foreseeable future, for Virginia Tech. And she's a huge piece to that team.
She's out right now with, I believe, a finger injury. But they've played really well without her, and I think they will get her back at some point. Taylor Soule, the BC transfer, has been great for Virginia Tech. And Georgia Amore at the point guard spot. You called a game where she had a triple-double herself. Yep. So that matchup between Amore and Olivia Miles, 2 of the better point guards in the country, it's going to be really fun to watch.
And again, that's coming up after we finish our game here in Pittsburgh. We'll get you right down to Blacksburg right after we finish up here. Nyla Harris with the ball, 10 on the shot clock. Harris reverse layup, up and in. Got 4 points today. Quickly up the floor. Brown at the and 1.
We talked about these young freshmen for Louisville, Sam, earning a few more minutes, getting some good playing time right now. That was a freshman to freshman pass. And then Amber Brown, who's been a little quiet today, coming off a massive game against Ball State, gets her first points of tonight's game.
We talked a lot about Louisville. How about for a Pittsburgh team that, you know, Coach Lance White has been trying to get this program off the ground. We saw the highlights earlier of Brianna Kiesel, excuse me. Last time Pittsburgh made it to the NCAA tournament was that year, 2014. He's got a lot of young players, freshmen, that he's relying on this year, but what do you kind of see the outlook being for the Panthers?
Well, I think the biggest issue for Pitt right now is the size. And when you play a team like Louisville, who's got multiple 6'5s and a 6'3", the rebounding and just the defending inside has been an issue. But Pitt has been great shooting the ball this season, and they're only 5 for 18 from 3. I think they have to rely a little more on the 3 ball. That's a way that you can counter some size from another team. And so that's something they're going to have to shoot the 3 well, pretty much every night to win games in the ACC. And I think Coach White knows that. That's why he's put such an emphasis on shooting the ball in the offseason. But the size, they have some great athletes inside, but when you see their size compared to a team like Louisville, it's a little different in those post positions.
Harris steps into a long 2, a little bit short. Kono in for the rebound, Jones as well. And last touch by Pittsburgh. And a balanced scoring night for Louisville. 7 players with 6 or more points. Brown gets to the elbow, off the mark. Kono with the rebound. Fresh 20 on the shot clock. Jones with a quick shot. That's short as well. Follows it up herself. Kono trying to find Harris and couldn't connect.
We were talking with Louisville Sports Information Director Narika Kono is from Japan, came over to the U.S. to go to Louisville and is about to graduate with her degree, which is really impressive for someone who didn't know much English coming over here. And her parents have never visited her, never been able to visit her at Louisville, of course, with COVID and all that. And they are coming after the new year. We'll be there for the Syracuse game. So that's a cool story to have her parents come over. And can you imagine, Sam, going to a brand new country, not even really knowing the language, and going to a university and graduating with a 4-year degree? That's very impressive.
It's an excellent story, and that's I'm so happy that her parents are going to be able to come and watch her play. That's even better. 75-47 the score here. 2:20 left to go in the 4th quarter before we send you over to Virginia Tech and Notre Dame. 5 versus 6 in the country coming up on the ACC network. Another turnover there for Louisville. Exenor back the other way. She's had a nice 4th quarter here. 10 points, 5 for 6 from the floor. And for a team that's trying to find, you know, their starting 5, Exenor's made a good case as somebody who can come in and help you out. All right, coming up next, we just mentioned it, top 10 matchup down there in Blacksburg, Virginia. Number 5, Notre Dame, and number 6, Virginia Tech. Then 8th ranked NC State hosting Clemson to cap off the quadruple header. What has been an excellent day of women's basketball all across the ESPN family of networks. Talked about Florida State giving UConn a run for their money as well. Minute 30 to go here in the Peterson Event Center. Exenor with a crossover. How about Exenor?
She's had a heck of a 4th quarter, perhaps earning a little more time in this fourth quarter. I like what she's done here, Sam, and her length. That can't be denied inside.
Exenor 12 points, 10 of which have come in the second half. Exenor again under a minute to go. Strickland on the drive, lays it up and in. A good finish to the game for Pitt. Try to carry that into the next games as well. For Louisville, like you said, KG, it's on to the next and up to DePaul in the Windy City on Wednesday.
And then we're full on into ACC play after Christmas. Can't wait for that. Truly, I could not tell you who's going to win this league at this point, Sam. And that's not generally been the case. I think there are 5 teams. I'm still going to count Louisville just because of their pedigree and how they're definitely playing better, playing a little more connected, getting those pieces involved. But Louisville, UNC, NC State, Virginia Tech, Notre Dame, I think those are all teams that could win this league when it's all said and done.
So Walker will hold the ball, and the clock will run down to double zeros. Louisville has once again improved and winning 4 straight. 26 all-time meeting between these two. Louisville now leading the series 24-2. They have won the last 20 meetings between these two, and Cardinals improved to 9-4 on the season.